posted a video. Steady Seds in the building.
A video.
Out
A
of the
video?
streets and in the building.
No, I posted.
A video?
I posted the picture that you sent us.
Okay, I would say if there was film, this is unbeknownst to me. I would say I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm not responsible for what I did in those streets out there. But if there's video, then I guess I gotta be careful. There's video.
Well, speaking of video, this guy was all over the place in all the videos and all the pictures. Reoccurring guest to WWT. Welcome, Kyle. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. My Lions are going to the motherfucking Super Bowl. It is a good weekend for your boy. You're right. I was all over the place, and no, my name ain't Diddy, so I wasn't all in the back of the music videos and any of that shit neither.
I mean, I don't know. I saw the picture. I mean, I didn't do a deep dive, but there might be some videos. I'm just saying.
Man, I was out there. It sucks that I'm not in Miami, or not Miami. I meant to say Tampa. It sucks that I'm not out in Tampa anymore. I'm back here freezing my ass off in Michigan. But all in all, this weekend was pretty badass.
It was badass. So
if you were going, you should have said something. We could have linked up, dude. You should have come through to the Battle Rumble and all that shit. You missed out, man.
Man, I did. I was trying to get some other collegiate friends to go, but by the time I got there, that East Coast time is really difficult to get used to, like on a whim like that, because I was really close to going to the Battle Rumble, but then I didn't know if it was going to end like at 8 or 9.
I went until like midnight.
Really? Yeah.
You had Leo Rush there. You had AJ Francis there. Big Swole was hosting it. You had Max Caster was there. Maximum Male Models came through. It was a good time. Shout out.
Do you think it's like going to be like a Royal Rumble? Hey, Eric, how are you doing? Do you think it's going to be like a Royal Rumble tradition like Wale Mania is?
Yep. He already said so. He already plans on doing another one. He ain't doing anything WrestleMania week, I don't think, because of Wale Mania and all that. And Rand's been involved with that the last couple of years. But I do believe they're going to try to do that again next year.
Well, there it is. Well, let's get into it. Or actually, let's just kind of do an overall take, I guess, a 1 out of 10, or what you thought of the Royal Rumble in its entirety. I guess we'll go with the two people who were there in person first. So, Kyle, what did you think of the Rumble?
Overall? I had a blast, all in all. I mean, obviously, we shout out to WWE for bringing us through and all that stuff. But, man, it was it was a blast. To be there with Mega Ran and everybody, and then because the way they split everybody with the media, like there was so many of us like sitting all in one spot, so we were all there. We kind of roamed around a little bit, ran into West Side Gun over there in the front row over there too, and I mean, all in all, the energy in that place was insane. I wish that maybe we had gotten a couple more surprises, maybe in the men's Rumble, but all in all, man. I mean, I had a blast, and I just want to say for the record, anybody that checks out our show, Knockouts and 3 Counts, dude, I said the final. I said my 3 options. I picked Cody, but my 3 options were Punk, Cody, or Gunther. And who were the final 3? Punk, Cody, and Gunther. So I got the women's Rumble wrong, but the men's Rumble, it was pretty funny because I was talking to Danny from the 3NT podcast when we were at Mega Ran's event, and he tried to tell me every which way that there was no way that it was going to be Cody and this or Gunther, and I said, all right. And then I messaged him while we were in there, and he was so pissed. So just so many different people with different picks, a lot of energy. The matches were dope, and like I said, I really enjoyed the women's Rumble, honestly, in my personal opinion, more than the men's Rumble, because I love the fact that we saw Jordan Grace. That was so dope. I love the fact that they pretty much have already all but said that that's going to be something that we continue to see, because I didn't even think about this going into the Rumble, with Endeavor basically buying the TNA, like not the library pretty much, but TNA Plus or whatever that's called. Mm-hmm. That means that they're directly involved with it. So, I mean, I'm all for it. We've talked about this before, and we've talked about it on our show as well. I think the more we can see the bigger promotions be able to like work together, I mean, it just makes for dope matches. Like, I mean, look at what we got with Jordan Grace and Jade, or, Jordan Grace and a returning Naomi, who they just fought each other at Hard to Kill for TNA. and now you're in a ring in front of 60,000 people in Tampa too. So I think that this only opens the door for dope stuff. The only thing that I said right after that is I feel like Moose should have been able to go into the men's Rumble, but who knows? Maybe we see something with that eventually at some point.
That is interesting. We can talk about that once we get into the Women's Rumble. Said, what did you think? Because you have a different perspective.
Let me Keith lead this real quick, because this is just my experience, not to discount anybody else's experience. But you said on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this Rumble a 6.5. Even though I had a blast of a time, but top to bottom, just the experience alone. And then I'll say this: whatever the WWE did to block the Wi-Fi, what was that? I don't know what that was. That was so weird. There was a Wi-Fi blackout. So in an era where social media engagement is like tantamount to your brand,
right?
For surprise, everything like that, I was told by every
not to mention they told us we needed to share stuff and couldn't.
Out the Wi-Fi. It's like WWE blocked the Wi-Fi event. You can't log into it. So like, whoa, that's weird. That's weird. And then so we couldn't use Wi-Fi. I didn't have service the entire show, so I really had an intimate experience. That was how my night started. Outside of that, just going down the cards, I'm sure we'll talk about each match. I will say the Women's Royal Rumble was done very well. The Men's Royal Rumble was cool because you saw some intertwinings of feuds that were either getting ready to begin or culminate or just culminate. I thought that was good. It reminded me like an old school Rumble I just got through watching, I believe, a marathon every Rumble the day before. So seeing that within the inner workings of a Rumble where you see like, hey, these guys are actually in a program right now and they're meeting in a Rumble. That's good. As far as surprises, wasn't that great. I think we could have done better with surprise. I think going in, God forsakes, I have no reason why we had so many Hogan chants in Tropicana. So people really assumed that he was going to make a surprise, or even there were points where I thought Dwayne would actually make an appearance. But little to no surprise in the Rumble. I will say I called Oos versus Oos at 1 and 2. So I was very happy about that, because that's been something where when the split happened and they were very vocal about wanting a Mania match with each other, it was like, how do you keep those guys apart? I think that's the only time we've seen them cross each other's paths since a live event that occurred maybe like within the past 2 months. So they've been completely separate. So that's a beautiful way to start their Mania feud. Great to see Naomi back. Her and her husband both came in at number 2 as well. So that's pretty dope. Very good response for her, just hours away from her hometown as well. It's beautiful to see. Real tearjerker moment. Jade showing up was phenomenal. When I talk about pops, like that was like, there was like no air in the arena, because like, oh wow, is this really happening? Because I've been very vocal about that happening night after Mania. So that was a very huge moment. All of it well done. Women's Rumble was probably like the highlight of the night. And I will say this, for the bathroom break of the night, which was Kevin Owens and Logan Paul, I will say that match was executed beautifully to end. For that match to be where it was, to kind of be a cool down match, I thought they ended that match very beautifully with the DQ and Logan Paul retaining that way. I think you protected both characters and got to the exact same result. But as far as it sucks that Booney's not here to have this rant. But as far as like having surprises and things that you want to see that epitomize the Rumble, where it's like, oh, this person might come back. We might see this person. We didn't get that. I think a lot of people thought AJ Lee would be a lock. Nope. Nope. And for Jade, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Roxanne, great to see. Great that we're having more talent like that. For the men's, I think all we got was Mello. And then of course Sammy was a return. Ricochet was a return. I think that was really flat for a lot of people. And then it's also a lot of people were complaining about interest music themes, which has been a gripe for wrestling fans for years. These generic themes don't really help the women's roster, especially when you have talent that are coming for NXT. If you can't identify who the superstar is, you're not really getting that reaction that you want. But maybe it didn't matter because it cut the Wi-Fi off anyway. So we couldn't complain about it online if we wanted to. So I don't know. But I would say the experience overall, really dope, just being at the Rumble. The Rumble is one of the most fun events you can go to. If you never actually experience one, it's one that you want to experience in your lifetime. But I think they could have done a lot better just with the element of surprise for these rumbles. For the men specifically, I'll say though, they kind of played it straight by the book, which you normally don't see.
Christina?
I would say this Rumble was a solid 8 for me. It was up there. I would think I was texting you, TK, and don't tell my workplace, but I was watching it at work. For those that don't know, I work in an animal hospital, so imagine I'm just telling everyone to be quiet while I'm trying to concentrate. So I watched with sound the women's. So women's definitely the highlight of the night for me. I was the Jordan. I'm still coming off the Jordan Naomi / Trinity coming out. That one was a big pop for me. I think I was like in the middle of like almost checking, like helping a customer or something. I was like, hold on, everyone. I would say, agreeing with Cedric, like the men's side, I was expecting a little more of a pop. I was also expecting maybe The Rock coming out. Some more. Kind of.
You guys forgot Andrade. We got Andrade back.
Andrade came out. Andrade, yep. Carlito. Those are big ones. But yeah, solid. Definitely the women's was the highlight of the night for me. Solid 8. Hoping for more pops on the men's side, but the women's one gave me a lot of happiness. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'll keep it short because we're going to go right into the matches. But yeah, the women's Royal Rumble was definitely the highlight for me, obviously, women's wrestling talk. And I actually disagree with you, Said. I feel like the bathroom break match was the Roman Reigns match, which I don't even feel good in saying, but I feel like we all knew he was going to win. And we'll get into all of that as to why I felt that way. But shout out to everybody in the chat. So we have Eric, JD. What up, JD? I guess Sundays is your day that you can watch us. I guess I get it. Shout out to Della. I don't know why you're not on the show because you should be, but whatever. Bosa, Sindel, Eric Clark. Thanks for joining. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'll do a toss up because obviously the bookend for both of them was the men and women's Royal Rumble. Do you want to start with the men's first and end with the highlight of the women, or do you want to do the women first? What do y'all want to
do? Whichever one you guys want to go with. I mean, I feel like the women's was the more entertaining one. So if we start with the men's, we can finish with that.
There you go. So let's do the men's Royal Rumble. So let's get this list out. Whoops, wrong one. Let's get this list out of everybody who started. And I don't remember, Said, when you said you called it with Oos vs. Oos, was it on this show or was it on another show? Because I don't remember you calling it.
Oh, no, this is just amongst friends. Like I just had a
internally.
Okay, gotcha.
It's amongst friends. I was saying we play like a Royal Rumble game where we take numbers out of a hat and we each get numbers and yeah, so like we get those superstars for our picks. So like I think I got 1, 2, 9, 19, I think 26 or whatever. So I was pretty pissed the night before because I was like, all right, you gave me both Usos and R-Truth. Because R-Truth had that segment when he was like, oh, do I have to quarantine? So you imagine like 19. So I just knew it was going to be Jay versus Jimmy to start.
I just want to say anyone that watches our show, and like I was saying in my breakdown, it was funny with the way that this went because it's funny. We actually do that too. Shout out to one of my co-hosts, Corey. First of all, fuck you for keeping my belt. But we do a whole we do the whole thing where each one's got its own belt. I lost my belt to this dude, and TK's been on our show, so Corey brings like the outsider point of view for us on the wrestling stuff because he's more the MMA guy. And 2 years in a row, this bastard has won the Royal Rumble, and he won the money, and out of both belts, he took mine and retained it. So it was
how much money were you talking about? Maybe I should.
I believe last year we did like $20 a person.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like 500, but okay.
I mean, you figure when there's 6 or 7 people that are in there, and there's 2 Rumbles, so if you win them both.
Okay. So I might want to join that. But we had 1 and 2, so Oos versus Oos, and then the third one was Grayson Waller that came in. So like, how did you like the Usos battling each other? So yeah, like I said, I didn't hear you predict that. You said it was amongst friends, but I did like this because this is the first time that we saw that, and this is something that they actually said that they wanted to do. So do you think this is going to carry over into another match, a Mania match, or something like that? Or what do you think the starting of the Men's Royal Rumble, how it went?
I think it parlays into their Mania feud. I think that's why initially you separated Jay from SmackDown so you can continue telling a different story while Jimmy is kind of trying to fill that Jay role and failing at it. So you keep them apart just so when you put them back together at the top of the year, so you can build for these next few months. So I don't know whether it'd be like a night 1 or night 2 thing, but I think it's just the beginning of seeing them interact a little bit more. And Jay is such an excellent storytelling, like with his facial expression and his emotion of you just have to believe like, oh, you haven't seen your brother in like several months. This is the first time. And it's like, it has to be here. So I think when people feel like the bloodline story is starting to flounder a little bit, it's like you get these extra wrinkles here and there that reel you right back in. So I think it's definitely a Mania night 1 bout.
So I've got a couple thoughts on what you were saying with that said. So my whole thing with that is when you look at that Rumble, it obviously a lot of people going into it were looking at it as we all thought it was going to either be a Cody or a Punk situation, right? But at the same time, when it comes to the Jimmy and Jay thing, like it was funny you brought that up because we were actually talking about that in the seats. So like I just went to the WWE house show that was like right after Christmas when they do their Christmas show here, and the main event had Jimmy Uso in it. So it was Jimmy Uso versus LA Knight in a street fight. I say that to say, to your point, I do think that we're eventually going to get to a match, but I think it will be at Mania, like you were saying, but I think that they're going to use that to parlay into the Rock thing. I feel like with as much as we've heard Roman talk about, oh, I want to be the head of the table, I want to be the tribal chief, I want to be this and that and the other. The problem with that is that I feel like what's going to end up happening is The Rock will probably come in and say something to the effect of, you're supposed to be head of the table, but you've got the family divided and split apart one of the best tag teams of all time, or however that looks. With it all being a family story, I feel like it'll all only help play into that when it happens. Because one of the options of matches for after Roman versus Rock that's been thrown around by some of the listeners of our show is they said that they think that there could eventually be a match between like The Rock and let's say The Rock and Jay versus Jimmy and Solo to help reunite the brothers at some point. So I agree with you. I think it's all building to that, and I think it's just going to further drive like the split down the bloodline. But I feel like somehow or another, I just feel like that's going to end up parlaying itself into that, or at least I'd like to hope it does.
Okay. Christina?
Yeah, I like to see it Oos versus Oos. That would be cool. I do see that coming. I feel like with the storylines, I do feel like that's going to be coming up probably WrestleMania, maybe before. I'm not sure. But I would say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. That there's a Oos versus Oos feud. And then maybe, I don't know if this is too crazy, but like maybe like when they reunite, like a tag team, and then the other side is like Roman and Rock maybe situation. Maybe that's just me in my in my head, but first things first would be Oos versus Oos, and I'd be very excited for that.
I don't want to go into too much of a tangent with this, but do we think that The Rock is going to be doing something for WrestleMania?
I think so.
Maybe not a match, but I think he has to be involved.
He didn't do it last year like I was hoping, so one of these years.
Yes, that part that I said on the last show. So then we have, like I said, 3 was Grayson Waller, 4 was Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. Both too big. Well, I think everybody kind of predicted Carmelo was going to be in it, but Andrade, I think people predicted that too because he had finished his stint.
Great presentation on Andrade.
That was dope. Leaning
more into like his character in AEW. I think he had a backstage quote after Rumble saying that he needed to leave WWE to remind himself who he was. So that's really cool. I think he's starting to have a little bit more, I guess, character control. And what I liked about Andrade being in the Rumble is they did have a moment with him and Santos, which is cool because they can play off that a little bit better as opposed to the Carlito versus Santos stuff. So good to see Andrade back.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm curious to see what he's gonna. I do like it's rare. Correct me if I'm wrong. When you do have like WWE wrestlers who leave or they get let go, it seems like the open door policy is a lot more. I don't know what the right word is, forgiving, meaning that like they're not just banished. We're seeing a lot of, when we'll get into the Naomi of it all as well, but we're seeing a lot of wrestlers come back after being let go, and they're able to flourish. So I'm curious to see how everything's gonna play out, and that's kind of what I really did like about the Rumble, was the fact that you saw, even though it was only 4 matches, you saw so many possible storylines going out. So that's good too. Jeffrey saying, I'd say the women's division is stacked even more now. Yeah, I definitely, I think with the NXT coming up and everything like that, we'll get into all that, but it's definitely exciting times. So number 6 and 7, we have Santos, Shinsuke Nakamura and Santos Escobar coming in 6 and 7. So what did you guys think of, and we could also start carry on Cross in there as well. So what did you guys think of those entrants?
My whole thing with that, I actually talked about this a little bit with Bronson Reed when I interviewed him in the press junket. With Shinsuke, I mean, anyone that follows New Japan, I feel like, and it was something that people were bringing it up in the stands, like, I was really kind of hoping we might see Okada in the Rumble, in the men's Rumble. Like, that was a name that was thrown around a lot. And I know multiple of the WWE superstars who had worked in New Japan that were in the presser all said that they think that would be like a major move for them to do. I've liked that we've seen a more serious Shinsuke. I loved what we saw with him in NXT. I got to be there for some of those takeovers and stuff. So that's one thing I would like to see out of the Rumble, is like, if there's a way to somehow put, him back in a better light. But when I saw that and going into the Rumble, that was something that I had kind of like thrown out on our show, is that I thought that that would be, something cool for if that did happen, was for something for Shinsuke. Because I feel like the problem we have with him is it always ends up being like, even with what we saw with Cody, they brought him back up, but then it feels like he just goes back down to this thing. So, I mean, not that I expected him to win the Rumble, but it just, like, when I saw that in anticipation, that was kind of one of the things I had on my, if we're talking fantasy pools and stuff, that's one of my fantasy booking hopes that I had maybe going into it.
The Shadow Wrangler, welcome, and posing a question. So he's saying, I wish the Men's World Rumble had more people that we actually thought would win. And before we kind of go into that, because I definitely feel the same thing too, I guess Seti Said's like manager, while he's in the streets, has finally decided to join us. Jacob is in the building. What to do, Jacob? How are you doing? It's been a long time. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
I can leave, right? I can go right back out the same door. Like, damn, I come in.
You could, but you won't. So, how are you doing?
I come in and just take a shotgun blast right to the chest. Like,
I mean, you're really acting as if you don't know me and the show. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of shocked that you're shocked.
Like,
Cedric,
I know, but still, like, damn, like, let me get in the door before you shoot me. Damn. But I said kind of stray on it too, but I'm good. Nice to see you, TK.
Okay, nice to see you too.
Where were you this morning, sir?
Oh. What was this morning?
We were supposed to do Top Rope Nation together.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah. You know what? Just check whatever. Anyways, I'm good. My thoughts on the Men's Rumble. It was well. I liked it. Oh, what's up, Kyle? Long time no talk, buddy. How you been?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. Hell of a weekend, and my Lions are going to the Super Bowl. It's all right.
Yeah, it looks that way. Christina, nice to meet you. I'm
nice
sorry that I'm meeting you in such a hostile environment, but welcome to Women's Wrestle Talk.
Everybody hates Cedric. What the hell is this? I just got back from Tampa.
Yeah, next time check in before you come to my state. Check in.
Oh.
Okay, Jay Prince. Okay, Jay Prince.
Oh my goodness.
But no, Men's Rumble was good. I enjoyed it. Shadow Ranger said, I wish there was more people that we thought could have won. Let's be honest. There was about 5 to 6 people that really could have won this that would have made sense. Sure, you got Cody. Sure, you got Punk. Quite obvious. You also have Sami Zayn. Hey, why not give one last crack at Sami at Roman? It makes
What
sense.
about
There's a story
Gunther,
there.
man?
You have Gunther. Gunther could go for Roman RSF. You have Drew Mack. So that's 5 right there. And I said this earlier on Top Rope Nation. Shout out Jesse and all the guys over there for letting me join them this morning for Rumble review. Damian Priest was a wild card in the dark horse that could have won the Rumble. Only because Priest holds Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank, he acquired that briefcase in July. 365 days. July comes after April. Mania comes before Money in the Bank. So he could go to Mania, challenge Seth or whoever, lose, have Judgment Day, beat the ever-loving breaks out of somebody, and then cash in Money in the Bank. 2-for-1 special. So there's more than 5 or 6 people. It's just you kind of got yourself worked up and was like, oh, great, Cody's going to win or Punk's going to win. There's a lot of ways they could have went that made very feasible and reasonable sense. And, of course, the Ghost of Rocky Maivia also could have won.
I'm glad somebody else said that, though, because I felt like there were a lot of options in that match, too, though.
I mean, I kind of agree with you. Like, I mean, yes, the 5 you listed were definitely options, but based off of, I guess, based off the consensus from, you know, the Twitterverse and all that stuff, there was only really 2 options, either Punk or Cody. And it seemed, opposed to the Women's Rumble, where a lot of people said Bayley was going to win, and obviously Bayley did win. It just felt like there might have been more options in the Women's Rumble because there were so many surprises. But now that I'm thinking about it, it seems like there would have been like 5 as well. So maybe I really just crossed out my whole theory.
3 in the women, really 2.
2.
Like it was either Bayley or Becky, and the wild card would have been Nia.
Nah, I'd say Bayley, Nia, or Bayley, Nia. There's a part of me that can there's part of me that could have seen a Kyrie, but she got eliminated earlier.
Yeah.
Once Jade came in, you immediately think like, all right, maybe Jade can win, and then you can never really count out Bianca from anything.
My bad. I got the Lions game going on, and I done talk shit too much.
No, I think I have 5 or 6 people. I had Bayley, and I guess there's obviously favorites of my own that I wanted personally. So I had Bayley, but before Bayley came, I definitely had Naomi, and we can get into the whole thing of why I feel like Naomi could have won and should have won. But we'll see how this all plays out. Jade, Bianca. And there was one more in there, but we'll get into all of that as well. But that leads us to 11, 12, 13, Bobby Lashley, Ludwig, and Austin Theory. And we could do Finn and Cody Rhodes. So that goes up to like 15. So we're now halfway into the match. So what do you like? This is an interesting thing too. I was speaking to, this is like maybe a couple of Royal Rumbles ago when we did a post show with Emily May's husband, and he's a wrestler, and we had asked him like, when you have so many people in the ring, what happens? Like, is there anything planned? And he says like, no, it's just chaos. You just find somebody, you hit them, and you keep on going. So like, in now being a watcher of that and kind of knowing that, and that was just his opinion. I don't know if that's the consensus for all wrestlers, but in watching it, like, is that what you kind of think too? Because you actually don't really know where to look. Like the camera has a pan on the ring.
Well, when you're in the audience or when you're present, you watch everything. So I think everybody does have a general idea of who they're working with or what they're going to try to do with each other. Because if you watch old Rumbles, like I think I watched 95 because it's one of my favorites, and then some of my friends tore it apart because it's so bad when you look at what's happening outside of like the main characters. That's like everybody just like vibes. So you might start hitting and they're not selling shit, and they just go off and do the next thing. So like now I think there's a general consensus of like, hey, this is what we're going to do if I tie up with this person, and they know. I think they have a general idea who's coming out when. outside of like people who are like genuine surprises. So I think there is a lot of it that is pre-planned, or obviously there's Rumble spots for every superstar that comes in. For example, Kyrie Sane spot. If you watched it in stadium, you might be thought like, "Hey, did they botch that? Was she supposed to get back into the ring?" But no, like when Sasha got eliminated, like right after, you realize, "Oh no, that was a planned spot." But it was really dope. You would also see like, I think we finally gave up on the Kofi spots this year. RIP. I don't think they're happening anymore. But I think generally there is a some type of timed reaction you're supposed to have when everybody interacts with each other.
Yeah, I've had a few people tell me that it's really kind of one of those, like you said, TK, you kind of find somebody in the corner and you kind of wail on them until you get to the next planned spot. And I've heard that from about 4 or 5 people that's been in like 3, 4 Rumbles. So it's, again, but also it's like you said, ring fills up with that many people, it's chaos. And you take a wide pan camera shot and you hope to God that the cameraman doesn't miss something significant, like, oh, I don't know, Edge's first spear back in like a decade.
Seems you're that really kind of gets you with that.
Got him in the heel. Got him in the feels.
Yeah, little feeling there. But that brings us to Bronson, Kofi, Gunther, and Ivar. And a lot of people are saying, and I think it's been confirmed, that Bronson. Well, we can kind of also kind of skip on top of that. So we had Pat. He came in on the 21st.
That was funny as hell.
Right. The rumor is that he didn't know he was even going in because I guess Bronson was supposed to be 22 and 21 was supposed to be oh my gosh, I just had his name. Brock, allegedly. That's kind of what the Twitter streets or the X streets are saying. But I think Bronson did a really and I think in a post interview on WWE Digital, he said like he's like main event ready. I think he did a great job at like proving that. Like you wouldn't even sometimes certain people, man, this girl, I really liked her, but I think her performance at the Rumble, and we'll get into it, was just not the greatest. I think some people, like you could tell that they need a little bit more work, and NXT is going to help them with that. And then some people you could tell like they're ready. And I think Carmella was definitely one of them, and Bronson was one too.
I could not agree with the Bronson Reed sentiments more. Again, like I said, I got to chat with him in the media junket, and I talked to him about his time in New Japan, and he talked about how he felt like matches with Okada and things like that really made it to where when he came back, he knew he had the confidence in himself to know that when he came back, like you said, some people you can see that they're ready for a main event spot. And, I think it's no secret that WWE's always thrived on, bigger competitors and stuff like that. But that guy is agile as hell for being that big too. And I get big Bam Bam Bigelow vibes off him. And so I would love to see what's happening next for him. He also said he's really looking forward to get at it with Jey Uso on Raw. So I definitely agree. I think he would be somebody I'd like to see in the coming year, kind of like raise his spot on the card a little bit.
Yeah. Sammy, what up, King Sammy? I'm hoping 1 year they do a 40 women and
holy
men
shit,
Royal
that would be a
Rumble,
long show.
Because the amount of legends or NXT girls. I think 40. Well, I mean,
40.
We've done it before.
Yeah, it's not too far from 30. So what's another 10 people? So I mean, maybe. I think that's the next thing too. Sammy did make a point. When we did WWT Live, I said, because they didn't announce as many people for both Rumbles, that I was expecting definitely some NXT people and some legends, but we didn't see too many legends this time around. So what do you guys think of that?
I think a 240 person Rumbles, like you guys mentioned, the Rumble was kind of long as it was. So if we did 240 people, like, holy hell, I feel like that would be a long show. But I mean, it all, I guess, just would depend on how they build the card. I mean, I guess if you did it like the way they did this year, where there was only really 4 matches, then I guess I could see where you could do that. But then how many? Oh my God, Lions, what are you doing? What my thing with that though is if you do that, then how many more people are you going to cut off the card? Because like I said, you can only have so many matches on a Rumble, and if you do 40 people in both of them, like figure we only had 4 matches on this one, and they were only 30 person. So if you did that, I mean, obviously, I would imagine that would have meant that they would have cut the Logan Paul KO thing. But then what do you do? Because then you still got to get through a world title match too.
There is that.
I mean, what if I don't know. What if it was just 2 Rumbles? Would that be just?
I think you still need
you have to have matches
something
in between to give it like a ebb and flow
like a little
kind of thing.
flow.
So then we had Braun Breaker, Almost, and Pat McAfee. So what do you guys think of Pat's spot?
I thought it was hilarious.
In totality of things, I didn't really care for it because I feel like we could have used that spot a little bit more wiser in hindsight when we realized we didn't have any surprises. Like, for example, that spot could have been given to any other superstar that was more deserving, or some NXT, like could have gone to like maybe a Trick Williams, or if you're going to do the commentator spot, Pat got a big ovation coming to the ring. I don't know if that was shown on the feed or not, but like he got his entrance to the ring. Everybody loved it. Why not give that spot to like a Barrett or something like that if he's hanging around, or even Corey Graves has been cleared forever.
Oh my God, I was saying that in the seats, bro.
Like I feel like we know what Pat can do in the ring, and he didn't do anything. So it was really a waste. And in the grand scheme of things, that was
I was hoping it was Graves too, bro.
You hate fun. You hate good natured fun so much.
I love bull hammers. Wade was on my flight this morning. I love bull hammers. We should have got a bull hammer to Otis, something, not just like a tiptoe in the ring and I'm gonna eliminate myself. R-Truth could have eliminated himself. We didn't need more comic relief.
If it was true that Pat didn't know that he was being called, like that's like because I was looking at his boots and I'm like, his boots are not even like. It would have been different if like he had like some like sneakers or something, but his boots were definitely not wrestling ready. So I mean, if one he knew he was being called, he played it off really well because I believed it. But if he didn't, he did a really great job as far as just thinking on the fly. I think it was a good comical. Yeah, you know what, Jacob? I agree with you. You said you don't like fun. I think it was a good comical thing. There was only 4 matches. And I always go back to one wrestler said this, the best is like wrestling. The great thing about wrestling is it can serve different personalities. So if you love, more the comical stuff, you can watch that.
Chris?
Yeah, so you could do a lot of different things. So I think it was a nice comic. Said, were you like too much of the streets the night before that you didn't want fun? What was the problem?
So that moment combined with what happened next, and correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, I got to watch the playback from the live programming because I believe after Pat McAfee, we had JD McDonough come out. While JD McDonough was coming out, I saw something in the stadium that I don't even know played out on television, and that was Braun Breaker eliminating Omos. It happened during McDonough's entrance while the entire arena was purple. I have to imagine that was supposed to be a big monumental moment to like give Breaker such a rub to eliminate him by himself. I mean, like I obviously saw that because you see everything in the ring. So I just feel like having Pat do that to go into McDonough entrance, and then we missed that moment that should have really elevated this superstar if he's going to be main roster bound in a week. That's why the totality of that, I wasn't feeling it. It kind of took away from a lot of things. Did they show it? Did they reference it on commentary?
Yeah, they made mention of it. It was one of those where if you're watching it, it seemed like the camera cut didn't come in time. Like
that's what I mean. I don't feel like it did because McDonough's entrance was full purple arena while I was going on.
Like you were supposed to jump from JD's entrance to Braun running over Omos, and the camera cut was either a little late or Braun went a little too soon. But also, it kind of fits with the nature of the chaos of a Rumble of anybody can get got at any moment. So I didn't hate it as much, but I see what you're saying with that moment. he also cleaned like 6 people out. Like they made him look like a star. We can stomach one.
Breaker's been ready for the main roster, man. I've been saying this on our show for a long time. His spear is nasty most of the time, except for that first one he hit when he got in the ring, because I kind of was like, what the fuck happened with that? But other than that, I think Braun Breaker is going to be money on the main roster, in my opinion. I've been saying that for a while. I think once him and Corbin are done with the Dusty Classic, I think he's definitely main roster bound.
Yeah, I think I misspoke when I said Bronson Reed. I was talking about Braun Breaker. So Bronson Reed did an amazing job as well, but Braun Breaker, even that the comedy of it all, did a great job too. Then we had R-Truth. Like, look, we're in award season right now, and
that shit was hilarious.
I don't know, like, I know they have the ESPYs and WWE takes part in that, but R-Truth, and even the Bloodline storyline. There has to be some type of category in the award season that needs to be given to R-Truth, because he is just gold. He's a
gem.
He is. So we had JD McDonough, which we talked about, 23, R-Truth 24, The Miz 25, and Damian Priest 26. And then we could just finish up with CM Punk 27. So what did you guys think of all those entrants?
I thought Priest had a better run than people were giving him credit for. Like, there were a lot of people in the seats by us kind of talking trash about Priest, saying the Priest experiment was over and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, the Priest experiment's over. He's got the money in the bank. And you've got the whole thing with what's been going on with the Judgment Day. I mean, the Judgment Days pretty much overlap the Bloodline as like the number one faction pretty much in WWE. So, I mean, between those two facts, I feel like it's far from clear to say that that's like the end of his experiment. And then to have him as far as he was in the Rumble, I mean, granted, he did enter later, but I feel like you talked about earlier, TK, I feel like with him having the money in the bank, there's no real need that he has to, there's no real need that he had to win that one, because obviously he's got the thing, but at least it shows that he can hang with them. As far as R-Truth, oh my God, that guy entertains me every time he gets in the ring. And the only thing I thought of is, like, I've been watching R-Truth through K-Quick, Ron Killings, and TNA, like the whole deal. And so, like, part of me thought, like, damn, like, he could do so much more in matches and stuff. But then it made me think back to something that Gunther said. Gunther said that Gunther made me more money than Walter ever did. And most of us and anybody who watches the indies loved what we saw from Walter beforehand, at least if you ever got to see any of that live. So I feel like that was kind of my thought when it came to Truth, because, I mean, like you guys have said, and like I think everybody on social media has pretty much agreed, R-Truth has been hilarious. And the fact that they had him run out during the women's match had me dying. So, like I said, dude is doing all right. Definitely coming back off that injury, but I don't think it was such a bad thing for Priest.
But the fact that Priest, so maybe I missed it because I actually didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown. So is Priest no longer like accepting R-Truth's money? Like what was because he came in upset and targeted Art. Like, I think we all knew that R-Truth was not going to win. So like, why target R-Truth first? What do you guys think of that?
Well, I think he cost him a match on Raw too.
Cost him a match against Drew McIntyre in the main event.
But he's making him money though. Like,
yeah, but he also just made him lose money. I mean, I come from the fight game. You get 2 checks if you win. You win 2 checks if you win. So you also cost me money too.
So you think the t-shirt game is over? Because that's a whole nother thing with it. Because now that
I don't think it's over. If I was R-Truth, I'd just be keeping all the cuts for myself.
just give Tom and Nick more.
What do you think, Christina?
I don't know. I was back to Damian Priest. I was really hoping he was going to go a little farther than he did. I really get excited about the whole the Judgment Day whole group. So I was really hoping to see Damian Priest go a little farther. Who eliminated Damian Priest? I forgot.
Give me 1 second.
Some like there's something about
I
that.
cannot remember.
It was
I think it's
Sammy.
Sami
It was
Zayn.
Sammy.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh,
That
that.
was right.
Yep. I liked that. I
Was
was
it
gonna
Sami Zayn? Yeah.
point that out too, because like with Sammy being gone after Drew took him out, I liked that he came in while Drew was still in there, and then you had Priest as well. So I thought that part played out pretty well.
And that leads us to our last bit of folks. We have, like I said, CM Punk 27, Ricochet 28, Drew 29, Sammy 30. Did you think for the 30th spot, and sometimes they do this and sometimes they don't, Sammy was the right, because we'll get into the women's too. Sammy was the right, like, did you expect somebody bigger? Did you expect a legend? Or do you think
I kind of
Sammy
did
was
expect
perfect?
somebody bigger.
I expected a legend, honestly.
Yeah.
Perfect person. I expected no legend, nobody bigger. Expected a main roster return.
You're perfect. You were
So we're a year
satisfied.
removed from Sammy's Rumble where he actually got kicked out the bloodline. So there's reason why Sammy was chosen, but I feel like you could easily slid Sammy at 29 since Ricochet hasn't really been on TV lately. And 30, in my eyes, if it wasn't going to be a bigger person, I thought it was money for it to be Rhea. I feel like we really missed the boat on having Rhea enter at 30. With all the promotion they did for Rhea building up to the Rumble, like all the interviews, showing her walking up to the arena, you just thought she would be somewhere on the show, and she wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they missed the opportunity to have her enter at 30 and have more Judgment Day members in the ring and kind of tell that story.
And there was a little bit of a thing where she was, between her and Paul Heyman, like you thought that she was going to try to take Roman Reigns' one of the belts, and that like kind of disappeared. That angle kind of disappeared. So I think that would have been interesting, but I don't know. Maybe, they missed it, but we'll see what happens with that. But that's like all the 30. So what do you guys overall think of that? Let's start with Christina.
I was thinking about did kind of like how Rhea pays homage a lot to China. Did China only enter the Royal Rumble once, or was it more than once? The men's Royal Rumble. Does anybody remember?
I think it was more than once. She was in 2001, I believe, as well.
Okay. Because I was thinking about how they placed her, if they placed her towards the beginning or the end. Because I was kind of thought that they were going to do that because I saw a lot of outlets kind of post a lot about China and being the first woman to be in the men's Royal Rumble. So that's kind of what I thought Rhea was going to come out. But
I didn't think of her coming in the men's Rumble, but I thought it was a missed opportunity that when Bayley won the Rumble that we didn't have more interaction from her and Rhea, or at least like. I just thought we should have saw more of her on the show, I guess. Like, I mean, I understand that there wasn't like a match for her, but I don't know. I feel like she's one of the biggest stars they got in the company right now. So even if I agree. I mean, like I said, I don't know necessarily that, again, I don't know that she necessarily needed to have a match, but I mean, I feel like whether it was interacting with Bayley or like you guys said, I didn't even think of that about her coming into the Rumble. That would have been dope too. But I wonder if the reason why they didn't do that is they didn't want it to come across as making her look weak, I guess, maybe, with her being like the dominant champion. Not that it would, I mean, because she's in the men's Rumble, but I'm just saying, like, say she goes in there and she doesn't just eliminate somebody. Because here's the thing. If you would have put her in the Rumble, I feel like she'd have had to almost come in earlier. If you have her come in at 30, look at who was left in the ring at 30. If any of them gets eliminated by Rhea, that hurts all of them.
I feel like the story is right there to have her eliminate Priest and like build that tension between the leaders of Judgment Day. You could have easily did that.
But don't you feel like they're still trying to like slow burn that though? Because I feel like they've been planting the seeds like TK was talking about with the shirts with our truth and all the other stuff. I think
that would have been harmless though too, because at the end of the day, Priest didn't belong in the Rumble because he has the briefcase. He still has an opportunity at the end of the day. It could have just been like another layer.
why not go buy another lotto ticket? Just because I got one doesn't mean I can't go buy another.
And that's
I'm
the
not
problem
mad
with
at
America.
Oh my goodness. Let's move on to the let's quickly talk about these two matches.
If I have a stroke, just call 911. These motherfuckers are gonna give me a stroke.
They just held. They held him to a field goal. You're all right.
I know that, but we were ahead 21-7. Damn it! Come on.
Wait, I thought they already won. Is this another game?
No, it's the same
game.
game. We're tied. We were tied 24-24. Now San Francisco just kicked the field goal. Son of a bitch.
Oh, you
I
came
got a
on.
little
I
too
thought
happy too
they
early.
won.
20
Okay.
Well, they were
points.
up by 4 touchdowns at the half almost.
Oh, so you were just getting excited before.
Well, I mean, they kept slamming them, but then
Pretty
Jared
excitement.
Goff's doing Jared Goff shit again.
Well, let's quickly talk about this, and I want to kind of go back to what I said. The Shadow Wrangler said China was in 30 in
Thank you, Shadow.
1999 and 17 in 2000.
Oh, damn, I got the year wrong. I thought it was
Thank you,
01,
Shadow.
but
Thank
I
you,
knew it was
Shadow.
one
I
of
was
those.
like, I felt like it was more than once.
So I actually think that both Rumbles were great, and actually the Roman Reigns, because I don't know, let me know how everybody felt about this. I think because we all knew that Roman was going to win, this was the bathroom break match to me, where it was like and obviously this is like, I don't want to get too graphic, but this is like you go and get some stuff and you come back, but Roman's going to win still. This is the bathroom break versus, taking the long, let me go and cook something. So what do you guys think of this match?
But he's going to win, but do you know how?
I actually said this on the live through some shenanigans. Like,
Yeah, I think everybody knew that was going to happen that way.
yeah.
In my mind, I knew AJ was there to take the pin. It's like, it was, for me, it was like, how are we going to get there?
Yeah.
That was the point of that comment.
I was like, wait, what?
So that was from Triple H versus Cactus Jack, the 2000 Rumble. They had like a bunch of the homage shirts in the store and stuff. And me and Megaran both actually ended up buying the same shirt that had all the different Rumble logos. And then as I walked out, I happened to look right and saw they had like the Funko Pop looking Triple H versus Cactus Jack shirt. So when
you did that when Roman Reigns threw his match?
No, I just saw his comment. Because you showed it on the thing. I was just saying that was where that came from.
I was like, oh, that's an interesting time to go shopping.
Oh, hell no.
But, what do you guys think of the match?
I mean, I think it served its purpose. I mean, did anybody really expect him? I mean, did anybody really expect him to lose? Like, I mean, I thought if he was going to lose, it was going to have to be from shenanigans. So, I mean, either way, I feel like we were going to get some kind of something, whether it was either to help him win or like everybody else was calling for with like The Rock getting involved. I feel like any way this was going to go, there had to be shenanigans. So, I mean, realistically, I feel like we got what at least I thought we were going to. I don't think he's losing the title until at least WrestleMania if he does.
Jeffrey's saying it felt flat to me as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like, because, and we're going a little out of order, obviously, but I feel like the women's Royal Rumble was so great. They had so many surprises, and it was so much of a high that, like, because the consensus was Roman was going to win, that it was just kind of like, okay, like, I'm going to watch it, but I'm also going to go and do a couple other things.
I actually enjoyed it. And I figured there's like a 10-15% chance that Roman would drop the belt. But what I was most interested in was where were they going to place this match? And putting it before the men's Rumble told me, okay, one of two things. Roman's winning or Cody's winning the Rumble. One of those two was a lock. We just happen to get both, because putting this there, that tells me Roman's likely to retain or either Randy takes it. Because those are the only two logical stories you have to go into Mania.
So it's funny you say that. I got a question if any of you guys can confirm this or not. Do we know if the Elimination Chamber is a SmackDown pay-per-view?
It's dual branded.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then, okay, good. If it's dual branded, then it definitely plays into my point, because going into the Rumble, I've been saying this for a few weeks now. I thought Cody should win only because that's the only way he gets back over to Roman, if that's the way they're going to go. But I've said for weeks now that I thought whoever won the Rumble, the other one between him and CM Punk is going to win the Elimination Chamber. So I feel like at this point, the Elimination Chamber should be on the Raw side, and you can finish off what there is with him and Seth.
So I was of the mindset that the pivot was going to happen the whole past couple of days. And if you guys saw those reports about like it being Punk Cody and then Seth Gunther, because if Seth is really hurt, then this is why Gunther winning the Rumble made sense to me. Because if he challenges Seth, it can be a quick squash match. You preserve Seth, he can actually get healthy, and then you can do whatever you want to do with Dwayne and Roman, if you want to go that course. I don't know. I didn't think the Roman match was bad. I thought it had a lot of good spots in it. I thought AJ actually stood out a lot. You can still see that LA Knight is criminally over from his entrance to all his moves that he did. A lot of people chanting "yeah" throughout the match. I thought there was a lot of good stuff in the match itself. It was just like, how are we going to get it? And I think they protected everybody in the match, because I thought there was a point where I think it was Randy and LA Knight stacked on top of each other, and Roman was looking around like, all right, where's AJ? Because I need to stack him too. They didn't go that route with making everybody look inferior to Roman, which is nice. Of course, we get the shenanigans with Solo. That's come to be expected, but I didn't feel like it was a bad match overall. I thought everybody looked strong. I think Randy might have threw his shoulder out again at a different point in the match. That's something to monitor, because that's been a nagging injury for him throughout his career. But I thought everybody looked strong going into Mania season, despite Roman retaining.
You know, I got a comment off of what you said with LA Knight. I'm really hoping that 2024, I feel like 2023, he was definitely a breakout. I hope 2024 can be where we can keep him like in the title picture. But, you know, I read something this weekend that was like mind boggling to me. And you talk about bet on yourself. I read over the weekend that when he signed with WWE, he only signed for like $55,000, which was like a huge drop from where he was at with Impact and NWA and that kind of stuff, because they had him higher up the card. But what's crazy to that for me is, to Ced's point, like, that guy has gotten himself as over as you can get pretty much without having the title, because from the show when they were here in Detroit and at SummerSlam, holy hell, the pop he got at SummerSlam here in Ford Field. So I agree with his point that I think that they kept them all strong. My only thing out of that match is I hope that we keep him around the title picture, because the way that guy's been able to bring himself up from where I feel like they kind of looked at him when they brought him in versus where he's at now, like, I got to give a guy credit for that kind of stuff, especially after reading that. That was just kind of mind-boggling to me, because to Ced's point, like I said, even in that match, that crowd was still going nuts for LA Knight.
Yeah, I think WWE, I think I said this on WWT Live either Wednesday or Friday, where it's just kind of like WWE didn't buy into him, and I feel like they're buying into him now. Unfortunately, if something else comes along, he might be put back into that mid card. That's kind of what I'm worried about. So I hope they do cash in on his popularity.
I disagree there. The thing is, Eli Drake has been money wherever Eli Drake has gone. NWA, TNA, the man's been money. He's just one of those people that you just cannot stop from reaching the top of the card unless you just release him or just bury him. Vince didn't buy into LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Trips and Sean bought into LA Knight from day one. When he showed up in NXT, he got the front row spot at a takeover. He got that main push. Sure, he never won the title at NXT, but he's been proven top of the card. They believe in him. I mean, the story also came up where Sean was like, oh no, Vince had him on the cutting block like 6, 7, 5 times. And every single time I've had to be like, yeah, no, he's mine. And they just never released him. And he's like, and look at it now. So, no, I think LA Knight will be perfectly fine. Does he get a world title this year? Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves Mania United States champ.
Okay. You okay over there, Kyle? Like, do we need to send
No,
help?
I'm not. I'm not
I know, I'm very
okay over
distracted.
here.
I'm just watching Kyle the whole time.
I'm sorry.
Why is he
Like I
going
said,
for it?
the Lions are giving the dude. You're talking the same shit that half of us have been saying all year. Although it's the same thing that got us there. This guy's gonna give me a fucking stroke.
Because
Got
he
him.
always goes for it.
No, that was a shitty throw.
Yeah, it was. It fucking was.
There was no reason. There was no reason to go for that there.
Oh shit.
Well, let's quickly talk about Logan Paul and KO. What do you guys think of this match?
That's the first time I've
Flawlessly
ever seen
executed.
somebody
Perfect.
hit somebody with brass knucks and not take the shit off their hand.
Mm.
Like, what the
Right in
hell
the heat
was
of the
that?
moment.
And to put his hands together like this to do the pin. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing?
He got caught in the heat of the moment. He's a prize fighter. He got
Man,
so
come
wrapped up in the
Sometimes
moment.
you forget to take them
We've
off.
been watching wrestling for a lot of fucking years. I don't ever recall somebody actually leaving them on their fucking hand when he pins them, though.
All right, so cool. Pete, this. He's the baby face, right? The heel never gets caught. The baby face always somehow slips up.
I guess I can get
Yeah.
that part, but it just was one of those things when I saw that they were on his hand when he was going for the pin. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing?
All right, so what would have bothered you more? Him with the knucks on for the pin, or the ref looking right at him going 1, 2, 3, and not seeing those when they're clearly in the sight? Because, I mean, we could have a Tony Storm and the pan sticking out incident if you want to.
I like his comment about the commentary. I haven't got to watch it back yet, but that's pretty funny. Now the refs got 2020 division.
Yeah, the commentary was really good.
I think that bothered me a little bit. It was beautifully ended, but I think that is just like, how dare the ref do his job? Refs never do their job. But I think it kept both people strong.
And Logan Paul already brought out Grayson Waller and his podcast guy and all the other shit. So if we're looking the other way on that, I mean, fuck.
Yeah, but
I like how the refs sold it. They're like, "Oh no, Kevin, what are you doing?"
I know.
But with that being said, I think the way it ended, I think you said this, Cedric, when we first started, it protected both parties. And I did see, and also too, Logan Paul has re-signed and he's now a full-time wrestler. He's committed to that. So
anyone that says otherwise doesn't know shit about wrestling.
Well, there are a lot of people who are saying online that if they folks didn't know that he was like this other guy, the influencer part, and you really buy him as a wrestler. So I think he looked amazing, and I think
I
it
agree
definitely
100%.
protected both people by the way how it ended, how it played out. But let's get into the women's Royal Rumble, which I think was the creme de la creme for the night, which started off the night. We have Natalya and Naomi. Personally, I feel like they should just go by Trinity, but I think that's just a personal preference. But Naomi came back. There's all the talk, the stuff with TNA, her losing the belt to Jordan, all that stuff. What do you guys think?
I thought that was dope. And the fact that she came in right at the same time as like when Jordan Grace was in there, I thought that was a really good move by WWE that I didn't really expect them to do. As far as the name, I mean, we all know how they are on names and all that kind of stuff. And the one thing I will say is from the people that were sitting around us that weren't media, I really was reminded how many people don't really watch. They only really watch WWE. So I also feel like there's a lot. What the fuck, man? Oh my God, I'm going to have a stroke. But I also feel like with the Naomi thing, like I said, it just really reminded me that a lot of people I don't think were watching what she was doing in TNA, even though those of us who watch wrestling were enjoying what we saw. I feel like at the same time, there were a lot of people that I don't think were paying attention. I also don't think that there were definitely some fans that were in there that I don't think knew who Jordan Grace was either. Even though they said it was the TNA champion and stuff, there were definitely people who didn't know who that was.
Yeah. But, well, we'll get into the Jordan of it all.
I just meant because it was ironic they came in at the same time, like around the same time.
Holy shit!
What did you think, Christina?
Yeah. What number was Jordan? So Jordan was
Jordan
like right after.
Jordan was 5.
Okay, so yeah, right.
So it's
after.
Natalia, Naomi, Bailey, Candice LeRae, and Jordan.
That's right. That's right. I was so excited when Naomi came out.
JD saying I'm gonna start a GoFundMe.
I got Crohn's disease, bro, so that's not the worst thing in the world. Damn it.
So what do you think?
Going on. I was along as excited as Kyle is now. That's how excited I was.
I'm not excited. Naomi... I'm about to have shit. We're losing now.
I was super excited when Naomi came out. I wasn't for sure if she was coming out because on her TNA match, some people were saying that she was saying bye to the crowd, but then when you really listen to everything she said, she didn't say bye. So I was like, oh, I don't know if she's really leaving TNA or not. It was kind of up in the air for me. So I was really excited to see Naomi.
Jacob said,
hey, we got Natalia out the cat suit. Like it took me a second. Like I joined late and I was like, wait, that's Natty? She got a cat suit? I was like, oh, okay, cool. But no, I mean, I love the return of Naomi. I felt like the only other spot you could have put her was number 1, but 2 made perfect sense. And yeah, I have no problem. She held her own, looked good, looked great. And then the inclusion of Muscle Mommy coming out with the TNA Knockouts Championship was perfect.
They actually had her come out with the belt?
Yep, she came out with the belt. They acknowledged her own commentary as the current TNA
champ. Yeah,
I kind of thought we'd see Mickie James in there too. I'm just throwing that out there. Like that was another name that I thought was coming.
Yep, and they made reference to Trinity and Jordan's Impact feud.
Now that makes me like it even more.
So yeah, no, I think it was either McAfee. I think it was McAfee was like, who is this? And then like Graves made a couple comments and he was like, oh, and then like she hit a move and McAfee just boom immediately started putting her over like perfectly. So no, they made Jordan Grace look like big money on commentary.
Yeah, no, I liked it too. I did. I think I might have suggested it. Not obviously WWE's not listening to us like that, but I did like it. I do agree with you, Kyle, that probably a lot of people like Kyle do take a moment, that a lot of people didn't know who she was because of TNA. But for us who actually watch it, you know, where Jordan Grace started and where she is now as far as looks, she looks like a champion. She looks like if she wasn't part of TNA, she could be part of WWE, which is a good thing too. So I think it was all great. Yeah, agreed. You know, I personally want to call her Trin. I think Jeffrey said this. We just called her Trinity last week, and she's Naomi this week.
I know the turnaround is too quick.
Yeah. So and so yeah, I think it's good. I think I had my pick for her winning, just because of how she left WWE. Now she's back, and like I'm just praying that it's just. I think I told Evan this. It's just kind of like if they don't do right by her, I hope the check is enough that she can take care of generations of family. That's
so you would think it would have to be if she came back and Sasha didn't.
Well, we don't know when. We don't know if Sasha's coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know. Like I feel like if you debuted both her and Sasha, it might have been a good play. But I like Sasha and AJ. AJ is another one where I think people are calling for back. I would like to see that, but I don't know if debuting them all at the Royal Rumble would have been the best. Because now after the Rumble, it's like, what are you going to do for them now? Because now with Jade in the picture, which we'll get into as well, like we have a few weeks up to WrestleMania. So like, and you already know storylines. They only pick a few good storylines and then they kind of toss other things together. So, you know, I think if they brought in Sasha, then storyline wise, what are we going to do? So
that's easy. We have the pending damage control implosion, and Bayley relies back on her best friend. AJ Lee was different. I felt like if AJ Lee would have been a surprise entrant in the end, then she would eliminate her mentee. which is Roxanne Perez, because it's just going to be a one-off anyway. It's like, hey, you still got a lot more to learn. Simple as that.
So you don't think AJ would be like signed full time?
No. I think it would just been like a good moment.
That was one that a lot of people at the pre-party were like. I was at the Jobber Tears, the Mania Club pre-party, and a lot of people were saying that they were kind of hoping that was how that was going to play out. So that was going around with a lot of people like ahead of the Rumble too.
So we had Jordan at 5, we had Indy at 6, Asuka, Ivy Nile, and Katana Chance, and then Bianca Belair. So that's up to 10. So what do you guys think of all that?
So this might be a controversial take, and since you guys talk a lot about the women's side of things, like I like what we were seeing from Kaden and Katana in NXT, but since they've come up to the main roster, is it just me or does it seem like they've kind of been like a step behind in some of those matches? Like I could be just totally being a hater right now, but it just seems like there's been little things like that. So like seeing them in there, it was good to have them in there because they've been on the main roster like that, but like. Mm-hmm. I don't know, just the stuff we've seen so far from them since they've come up to the main roster. Not that I'm saying they shouldn't be there, but I just am hoping, like, it just kind of seemed off a little bit to me.
They haven't always been a step slow? Oh, that's news to me.
I mean, I'm not saying they aren't, but I'm saying there's a difference between doing that in NXT where it's supposed to be the developmental.
Time out. Let's address that, Jacob. Katana and Kaden are the best women's tag team on the entire roster. We talk about just
that's because they're the only tag team.
In ring work. What their criminal flaw is that they don't have anything that makes them pop right now. So they're still trying to develop their gimmick and character. That we talked about the music thing earlier. You don't know who they are because their music doesn't really hit. On top of that, it's like, what's their character? They're just party rave girls right now. There's not enough to develop their storyline, but in ring, they're phenomenal. They've been phenomenal for like the past few months on main rosters, which is why they were gifted that tag team title run. Unfortunately, we need Damage Control to have all the gold and for Bayley to be the ugly duckling and not have a belt, which is why you're doing that right now. So I don't think it's a flaw in. I mean, could you have had other women in the match? Yeah, but I think you wanted some of that tandem offense in there. Maybe just a victim of having them around. If you look here, you have them around Asuka, then Kyrie comes in, and then you have them around some of the more powerhouses. But by no means, I think that they were a flop in the Rumble. I would say there was only one flop in the Rumble, and we know who that is. And I'll go as far as saying it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault. I blame it on Bayley.
I'm sorry.
We could. Well, let's wait for 1 sec before we get to that because that now that you said that, I have a lot of questions that we can discuss. But what did you think, Christina?
Who was the flop? Is that what we're waiting on?
Well, yeah, we haven't called her yet.
Oh, I really want to talk about that. Okay. So far I have no qualms with the people that have come out so far. With Bianca coming out, I was really excited because what we're going to talk about coming up is kind of like the Bianca Jade.
What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry. I'm
gonna have a fucking stroke over here, man. Now the refs are getting on this petty bullshit.
All right. Well, make sure you send us your address so if we need to call a 911 for you.
Please do.
But
that's all.
Come on.
So that leads us. So we have Bianca at 10, then we had Kyrie at 11, Tegan Knox 12, Kaden Carter 13, Chelsea Green, oh my God, 14, and Piper 15. What did you guys think of that?
Oh, it's not a touchdown?
Chelsea Green is the white R-Truth. She is a national treasure in her own way.
She's like there for a different reason than everyone else.
She's a hot mess. That's what she used to go by, but it's entertaining as shit.
She is. There's literally almost no other woman on that roster that you could give that gimmick to, and it hit the way it hits. She's perfect. She's perfect.
She is.
Great.
Does she hold like the shortest Rumble?
She does.
She did.
How long was that? Was it like?
It was under 5 seconds.
Under 5? Oh, even was that less than Santino?
Yeah. Or no, she was no. She was 1 second, I think. Or they said 1 second or 3 seconds because she beat Santino's record, I think.
Yeah.
No, I think they said 5 because she kept making reference. Commentary kept making reference to 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept throwing up the 5 of like, hey, I lasted longer than 5 seconds. And then she ate about 55 splashes.
Yeah, and then when she like passed out and Piper was trying to like, it was just I did like the fact that within obviously what the Rumble is about, there was a lot of I mean, I'm a fan of comedy. I love comedy. There is a lot of
no.
there. Oh no, are you okay, Kyle? Do we need to send you?
He needs compressions, I think.
The shit. There's no need to have compressions now. They done fucked it up. No.
I should put like Royal Rumble and Detroit Lions.
Let's go. They did get a touchdown though, but we still ain't gonna win.
The city of Detroit deserves so much better. I will always echo that sentiment.
Damn right.
Shut up.
I blame the Pistons for this because they won today. So you can only have like one good thing at a time.
Look, they were the sacrifice, and now they fucked it up.
This is a sidebar. Dan Campbell should have took that field goal to tie it up, though. That made no sense.
Valhalla might have beat Chelsea's record.
That's been the story of our season.
Okay.
Valhalla did get in and out really quick.
How long was it?
He did.
So it was even sooner then?
I don't know what the time was in the actual, like being in the arena, but she did go out pretty quick.
She was less than 5 seconds.
Quick for sure. It was less than 5 seconds. Okay.
Because of the whole R-Truth thing.
Bless her heart.
So we did Piper at 15, 16 Zelina Vega, Maxine Dupree, Nia Jax. What do you guys think?
I'm excited.
I was happy they kept Nia strong.
I agree.
Did.
Yeah, Nia was money, and Maxine Dupree was she tried.
That was the thing. That's what Maxine Dupree. Was so that is that the person you're talking about said that was when I put in the chat. Like, is she doing this on purpose or is this legitimately like? That's the question I had.
Maxine Dupree is a budding student at the Alpha Academy. This is a part of the gimmick.
Valhalla lasted 5 seconds according to WWE's official website.
So she tied with Chelsea.
She tied.
Bless her heart.
Even at that, I don't think it was that bad. I think it was cool that Bayley ran the like the merry-go-round back so they can get it right. It was just slower, and maybe that's because keep in mind our eventual winner broke the record for time spent in the Women's Royal Rumble. I think she went 63 minutes and some change. So this could have been some dead legs in the middle of the match. Legs a little bit tired, like, oh damn, I gotta do this spot. It didn't come out right.
No,
I can't put that all on Maxine. I can't put that all on Maxine. Look at the move. You're supposed to actually walk, spin around. Like, out. Do we really believe Maxine Dupree's thighs are spinning Bayley around? No.
Yeah, but was she supposed to twerk? I mean, obviously, well, I don't know if any of you guys have any wrestling experience, but was she supposed to like twerk her torso where it's like a tandem thing, like versus just one person doing all the work? Because that was where the question. I was like, is she doing this on purpose? And then also, let's not forget, like I have Jeffrey saying R-Truth with more comic relief. Just gold. Oh no! Somebody call 911.
Damn it!
I've already called the authorities.
Okay.
Not 911, the authorities.
I think Nia Jax got what 9 eliminations when you count R-Truth.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
She was
you had it in your hand. Don't hand
it. By Descartes.
Yeah, the Nia stuff was good. I think Nia had some moments with Piper in the middle and the Rumble, which were good. I think they did a good job of like having your powerhouses in here. I know Christina mentioned Zelina. I wish Zelina would have had a little bit more run. Just
Her
because
entrance was dope.
She's
I didn't get to
her
see that in the
entrance, her
building, but I
outfit.
seen the outfit
Oh.
thing, and I was like, "Oh shit, that was pretty
Yeah,
dope." Like I couldn't
much
see
goes
that in
into
the
that.
arena,
It's always
but
great.
She will have her time.
She will. Jeffrey saying just turn the game off, Kyle. Save your stress.
hey, there's a flag right now. All right, so you calm down real quick. Hold on.
He's in too deep now. He's got to see it all the way through.
maybe because
Man, we're only
probably
down
wasn't
by
supposed to touch it
3,
first.
and if we get the ball back, the Lions have won like 4 games like that this year. So I'm gonna just ride it out. All right.
Okay.
I don't think he was supposed to touch it first.
Levels. So in 20 we have Shotzi, 21 Becky, 22 Alba, and 23 Shayna. 24 23 Shayna. So what do you guys think?
I was kind of disappointed for Baszler. I'm pretty sure Shayna and Bianca both hold. Well, maybe unless Nia tied or
Shayna
broke
was
it. If you
tied
count
for the most
R-Truth.
Rumble eliminations. I talked to her about that in our interview at the press junket.
Yeah, and did she even? I don't even know if she had an elimination this year.
I think she maybe had one, but yeah, they didn't do a whole lot with it.
Just Zelina. Now that I'm looking, and it was like tandem with Zoe Stark. So kind of this continued like fall from grace from the Queen of Spades character is like very disappointing because if you look at, I know this was like the Bailey favorite, but you can always tee up the fact that all right, maybe Shayna could win, and I'm always going to echo the Elimination Chamber a few years ago where she ran through the field. You got to build up people like that so you have more believable characters. Like we talk about it on Wednesdays all the time. NXT Women's Division has probably about 6 people that you can probably buy as NXT Women's Champion right now. I think you need to do that with the main roster women as well, which is something they've been lacking.
But here's the problem. Here's why you can't do that. Rhea is Roman. You can only have so many credible people. You can only do so much. Because if you build up a bunch of people, you're just going to feed them to Rhea. You're going to burn through challengers and contenders like Roman did early. So you have a logjam. Rhea is a beaver that has built the dam, which is the belt, and you're only letting certain people get through. And until you get the beaver up out of there and the belt off of Rhea, Shayna, Zoe Stark, they're not going to have their moment, which they should, but you have too dominant of a champion, too dominant of a star. Because if you take the belt off of Rhea, what happens now? You have to dismantle Judgment Day. It starts to crumble on Judgment Day. She loses her shit. She flips out. And then Damian Priest is like, oh, mommy's not so hot now, is she? And here we go.
I'm still stuck on the beaver.
I like the visual.
Yeah.
I was like thinking of like Rhea with a tail, like patting.
I mean, being Canadian, it's just kind of like
I'm a visual learner, so I really like that.
So you guys wanted to pause right there. I was just gonna let them cook. I wasn't gonna say nothing about it.
I liked it.
Hey man, it worked. It was a win, unlike the Pistons.
Wow,
Pistons beat the number 1 seed in the West today, by the way, without their best player, Cade Cunningham. Just wanted to point that out. Thought you guys should know on the stream as well.
And look what it cost you, the Lions winning.
How about that?
Oh no. Oh no.
My goodness.
Damn it, dude.
But actually
how we managed to fuck this up, I'll never understand.
You need a shot? I kind of like
I
the
need
beaver
a shot,
theory.
a joint. I need a few things.
Okay. JD's saying at this point, I'm actually pulling my costume.
I'm like, I don't even know what you guys are watching, but
the
Lions game, damn it. The Lions had like the most colossal fuck up, but they've been doing this all season.
The Super Bowl just became unwatchable.
Oh fuck. Well, now I hope Baltimore wins.
Baltimore already lost.
Or not. Shit, I didn't get to see that game because I was in the damn. I was out there. Shit. Okay.
We are watching Super Bowl simply for the halftime show now.
I heard it was going to be a shitty one, so I'm all right on that.
I thought it was Usher.
Yeah, it's Usher.
Okay. Fuck you, Brock Purdy.
MDB 999 says as a Raider fan, the Super Bowl is going to be Dookie water. Okay,
Dookie water.
Special
I haven't heard
nobody's
that word in such a long time.
I know.
There's 1 second left in the game.
Should we mute you, Kyle? Like, are you about to lose your?
I'm straight. It's done with now. But damn it!
Okay.
Oh wait, no, he nailed for a turnover on downs. Can you do that?
I'm gonna go back to the Beaver reference.
It wasn't gonna matter even if we had 1 second. What the hell are they gonna do? They were gonna do a Hail Mary, and with the way that Jared Goff missed that fucking flea flicker like that, we weren't gonna catch that shit. This is some bullshit.
What if Kyle's team were Beavers? What would that look like?
Wait, what? Let's go back to this. Else we'll be here for 3 hours. Let's go to the Beaver reference with Rhea.
Sorry. Okay, Beaver, Rhea. It's like a. Okay.
I'm in the
Beaver
comfort of my
dressed
own
like
home.
Rhea.
All right, at least I don't gotta cry in the car.
Dominatrix dressed beaver is what I
Would Rhea be would Rhea be an angry beaver? Would you?
Half the time it seems like that.
Yes, Norm. Yes.
like a very angry, attractive
Okay,
beaver.
just making sure. Just making sure.
Good reference, son of a bitch. I haven't heard that one in a while.
Wow. 24, Valhalla. 25, Meechin, Zoe Stark, Roxanne Perez, Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton, and Liv.
So I think that we know the Valhalla
Lord
thing.
help
We
me.
all got hyped because of R-Truth, because it was and R-Truth provided a lot of moments throughout the show, which was really good. But did anybody want to see, I guess, Sarah Logan Valhalla mixed up more, since she doesn't really do that a lot nowadays?
I'd rather see Valhalla than Liv Morgan.
That's
wow.
That's
okay.
a question. That's a questionable thing, because
Wow,
I wonder if
that's a hot take. Shit.
I wonder if that was done on like, you know how some people, whether it's due to health or in-ring ability or endurance, some people are in the ring longer than others. Like, I wonder if that's the case, or that's just legitimately like, no, this is going to be your moment. Because somebody made a reference to it in the chat a while back ago about talking about the antlers and it all. So I wonder if that's all like the planning inside the ring is chaotic, but the outside from behind the scenes to the ring, that's planned. So I wonder like how they plan all of that out. Because it did seem like, although I did find our truth moment really funny, was it really necessary? Could we have did without it?
I think you had to have a truth sighting. I don't think anybody really expected it was going to be in the Women's Rumble, though.
Yeah, that's essentially what I'm saying. Like, did we really need a sighting in the Women's Rumble from Truth, or was it there to do exactly what it did?
Yeah, you needed.
It was there to let things breathe.
That too. But you needed something to set up a 5-second elimination. It can't just be the typical sign in the ring and get ran over. Like, let's put some legs to it. They're both on Raw. I'm sure this probably leads to Ivar is whichever one is healthy from the Viking Raiders squashing on Truth as a payback thing and just continuing building him up as a monster. So it works.
Yeah, Ivar's been on a tear lately too, so I think it just adds another layer. You'll get a random Ivar match with Truth, and then maybe he gets some help from the Judgment Day. Maybe they throw him a bone. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I think our truth is on the island with the Judgment Day. For real.
I think him and Dom are cool. I think you saw the hot tag. They cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I know we briefly skipped over it, but let's talk about the Jade Cargill of it all. So
they did that Friday, so well.
They did. On Friday, we didn't expect her to, out on the show, we were saying that they didn't need to put her on the Rumble, like let her, do all the stuff behind the scenes first. They presented her. Jade Cargill is here. Do we think she's going to disappear again, or do you think she's going to be in play for WrestleMania?
I don't think she can disappear. They already got shirts up on WWE.com and shit.
I actually like that shirt a lot too.
It
gives me like old like Cash Money No Limit album cover vibes.
I haven't seen the shirt.
So She can disappear.
You are right, MD 999. You did say that on Friday. I agree. I'll give you that.
I think, yeah, you might say she can. I think she can too. Because just remember when Nia was 30 last year, we didn't see her at all.
Well, that was like a spot. That was just a comeback spot. But yeah, no, she can disappear because what is there necessarily for her to do for 2 months?
Nia Jax.
Because here's the problem with Nia Jax. You gonna drag that out for 46 days to Mania?
What about Bianca Belair? Like they're
not even that. The problem with Nia Jax is she's the most protected woman on the roster currently because she hasn't lost a single since she's been back.
Sure, but wouldn't that be the best way to put somebody over like a Jade to prove how strong she is and things like that? Or you could also go like we were just talking about with the Bianca thing, because Bianca, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing Bianca around the title and all that stuff, but I don't necessarily think that she's going to end up back there by Mania, especially now that she didn't win the Rumble. So if she's not going to be in the title picture, I mean, holy shit, a match between them two, or, you know, I've heard people throw around the thought of them maybe being a team or something of that sake, but I mean, I don't know. I want to see the team part, but I think either one of those matches between Nia or Bianca would put Jade over heavy. Because again, back to my same point with Jordan Grace, even though I think more people may know Jade because of AEW, I still think there's a lot of WWE fans that don't know the hype.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. No, that's fair. But no, Nia makes sense for Mania. 40 years of WrestleMania, 40 years of Hulkamania. You can recreate the whole slamming the giant spot on Mania, even though you just saw Jade just lift Nia like it was nothing and toss her. But the problem with Jade and Bianca Belair is this. If that is what you come out the gate with Jade Cargill with, the only other place to go is the title. And if you go to the title too soon, you got to come back to Earth. And there's no point. What are you going to do? You're going to do what AEW did? You're literally about to make the same mistake AEW did.
Could you really put her on NXT, though? After everything we saw with AEW, they're letting her keep her name and all that stuff. Could you really put her on NXT, though? I mean, I thought about her going to NXT, too. But
I mean,
they got the stronger presentation, to be honest.
I didn't say put her on NXT. I just say let her show up on Raw, talk a little cash money, disappear, pop back up. Let's say Nia shows up and is like, nah, this ain't how this goes down. Jade gets a little lick, or Nia gets her lick back. Nia goes into the women's chamber. Jade shows up at chamber, screws Nia. Now we're at WrestleMania. I'm just saying, I don't need Jade Cargill for these next 46 days to be a regular fixture until we get closer to Mania. Let's not overexpose her. She's special. Let's protect this. Let's make this a thing. Let's not do what AEW did. The more AEW showed Jade Cargill, the more cracks you saw.
That's why I like the Nia matchup better, though. Like, that was why when they had that original face-off, like, I feel like if you built that up to WrestleMania and let that be her first match or whatever, like, I feel like that's a strong match that you could put on WrestleMania as far as for the women. And I feel like if you do that, again, to your point about the Hulk Hogan Andre thing, I mean, like I said, if you're gonna put her over as the big powerhouse, which there's really no other way to, book Jade, I mean, who better to do that with than Nia?
Oh no!
But then what do you do with Nia then? Because Nia
I agree with Kyle.
And then,
but I mean, she's not really in the title picture right now, so
and
I mean, that would be
that's
a
why I don't like
match.
it. I don't like it because Nia hasn't got her Rhea match yet. She ain't got her one-on-one yet.
Sure, but the only way she would have got that is if she would have won the Royal Rumble, because I feel like especially
she's
playing
undefeated.
Into that story, right? But if you play into that story that they've already been basically telling on TV by saying, Bayley's going to go after Rhea, to win the other title for Damage Control, even if that ends up playing itself out to where Damage Control costs her. I mean, I feel like with Bayley winning, it was going to be an automatic assumption that she was going to go that way anyway. So then she wasn't going to be able to go, right for a title. And again, if you put her right around the title, like he was saying, man, like then you run the same risk as AEW did. Because I feel like that was one of the biggest issues with Jade's run is that you always hear the comparison to the female Goldberg thing. Like, if you come in and do that in WWE, where again, I don't think all of their fans really know enough about Jade for that to really work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that works. So I think with Nia, at least it gives her like a formidable opponent, and like Nia is already proven herself enough, I feel like, to where, I mean, worst comes to worst, dude. Nia can always be reinserted in the title picture because she's the dominant force. So I don't think she necessarily needs to be there right now. And I think it gives a big enough match for Jade to come in against a top tier competitor like Nia to help build both of them. But that's just me.
And also,
I think you got to run Nia and Rhea in Perth. I think you have to.
Okay, and let Jade get her lick back, assuming that Nia gets a lick on Monday. Let Jade get the lick back at Perth, and now we're off to Mania. And that keeps Nia strong. Because Nia got cheated out of her
You don't
title
even
match.
have to have Jade touch her. Why can't Jade just come out if they do that with your scenario with Perth? I mean, why can't you just have them do basically what Rhea did at the Royal Rumble? And if Jade comes out during the match and, you know, Nia, somehow it costs Nia, or she sees Jade on the ramp, or however the hell you do it, even if she just stands up there, well, now you've got a reason for them to fight.
Yeah.
Could be sitting ringside. Yeah.
She doesn't
Simple as
have
that.
to physically interact. So yeah, that's what I'm saying though. But just
That
So
first
are we-
L should come to Rhea. Nia's first L back should come to Rhea.
So, welcome, push play the DJ. So Nia loses and Jade just looks at her as inferior. So wait, are we saying that we want Jade to debut on the main roster, or starting her off at NXT?
I think she has to go to the main roster at this point. But I mean, if you're looking at what they're going to do as far as matches, I feel like based on the way things look right now, with how it looks like how WrestleMania is going to play itself out, at least match wise, at least by who people have been saying they're going to call out and stuff, I feel like with who would be left on the roster in order to give Jade a good first match for the her to come, you know, to the main roster. I mean, I don't really think I don't think that really hurts Nia at all. Because I mean, I didn't hear the commentary being in the building, but dude, like, I mean, from watching the match, it looked like they were still trying to build Nia as like the irresistible force, even in that. So
they put her over. They put Nia over the whole way through. They put Jade over. So yeah, it's either you go to NXT and run through everybody there, or you go Mania to Nia. Like, those are the two logical paths that make sense. Anything else is a mistake waiting to happen.
Well, NDB 999 says there's nothing wrong with losing in wrestling, and maybe that's the thing too. What if we have Jade go against somebody and she loses, which is fine, and then she now pursues, she takes the time to build to become champion, because we start.
I don't think she's gonna lose to.
Who?
The person that eliminated her at the Rumble.
Oh my god.
Yep. I just want to throw that in there because Jacob gave that unnecessary Liv Morgan shade earlier. There's a underwritten reason why Liv Morgan was allowed to eliminate Jade Cargill in her first appearance on WWE programming in a wrestling capacity. There's some reason there. So maybe it's not Nia or Bianca that are in game. Maybe Jade's first program is going to be with Liv.
And but I think if they do start off Jade with a loss, then that takes a little bit of the wind out of the expectation that she should win because then you're kind of doing the Ronda approach. And I think what WWE learned from Ronda is, and I think I said this on Friday, is that they obviously, she came in as a big name, and I agree with, I think you said the same thing, Kyle, like not a lot of people necessarily know Jade because they don't necessarily watch the AEW product, but she's a star. However, if you take out, you do that loss, then it's all right, cool. We can, JD saying Jade cannot lose. She's open to every possibility in storyline. So I'm kind of buying into that, but push play the DJ saying I don't want Jade to have the Rusev situation. And Sindel saying, I think I hear Jacob screaming in the background.
It's tough though, because I mean, even with the way that she looked in the Rumble, I mean, I know I said that she couldn't go to NXT, but at least if you're not going to immediately put her on the main roster, like if she comes in and has like this dope performance with what she did, and then let's say she does go to NXT, we've seen enough of the NXT stars showing up on Raw and SmackDown. So you could also have her go to NXT and have, I mean, because let's be honest, I mean, even though NXT is growing quite the roster there, I think Jade runs through most of them once they build her up. So you could have her go to NXT and build her as a star, but then have her periodically pop up at some point between now and WrestleMania, or even maybe the Raw after WrestleMania, and show back up to confront.
We don't have storms in Vice City, by the way. Just wanted to point that out.
Thank you.
Just play DJ saying he agrees with you, Kyle. Sindel said Dakota Kai said on her stream that she's almost done recovering.
And I think she's going to have something to do with what we see with Bayley, because I think it's inevitable that Bayley's going to turn face again. Like, they've already been planting the seeds. I think you're going to continue to see the breakdown of Damage Control as we get to WrestleMania. And then eventually that's going to happen.
I'm very curious about you guys' thoughts about that. What kind of face? Because I think whenever I say she can go back to the hugger gimmick,
I think it's going to be an in-between of the two, because me and Megaran were talking about that too. And they were saying they'd like to see the hugger come back and some of the inflatable stuff, but I feel like but I think it needs to be somewhere of like an in-between line. I don't want to see her go back to the ponytail, and I don't
think she wants to go back to the ponytail.
Oh shit. Well, if she does, then fuck it, I guess. But
no. I said I think she doesn't want to go back to the ponytail. Like,
okay, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if you do somewhere in between that, where she comes out and says, "Okay, obviously I had my run with Damage Control, and I realized some of the error to my ways or whatever, but I realized that me being too nice wasn't getting me anywhere either. So I feel like somewhere of an in-between of that, whatever that looks like."
Yeah, she kind of goes off in KO style.
Yo, thank God, as me as the MMA guy, like, I hope to God they put some respect on her name with that shit, because
especially though nobody's, I thought that comment was disrespect. I was about to have you removed. I thought it was disrespect.
I mean, I'm not mad at seeing it either. I'm just throwing that out there for the record. I'm not mad at seeing it either. I'm just saying.
No, but I agree with that. I think she falls into some certain characteristics don't need to be there, and that killer thing is not there yet. Killer in the sense of, and this might be like low hanging fruit, but like how Xia Li was with Tian Sha in NXT. I think some of that is necessary for a character.
I don't know about the Tian Shaw part, but they definitely need to play more into the MMA background, because again, I was just saying with Jade, like, too many of the WWE fans don't understand that not only was she a fighter, she was a fighter inside Bellator, which was the number 2 promotion in the world for a while, and she's got victories in MMA as well. Like, let's not get it twisted. Don't let the looks and her dancing fool you, which it could mesmerize you a bit. But with that being said, she can also knock your head off. That's the thing. I watched. I'm trying to think of what fight it was, because one of our guests on our show, James Crunch Time Williams, was talking about that when there was like the talk to her coming to WWE, like when they were talking about her doing the tryout and all that stuff. I think that's one thing I think that would be a very big help in her time in NXT. Like, just find a way to find, like, the same way we talked about, like, a little bit of a middle ground for Bayley. I think they need to develop more of people knowing that she also has that too, because otherwise I feel like that does a disservice to all that, because they talk about it all the time on commentary too.
I like this question a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like this question a
So,
lot, and if there's any time for it, it should be now because I don't think
well,
there's
first read it.
anybody that wouldn't say EO's not the best.
Read it for read it for our audio audience.
Okay, for the audio people, because this is audio as well as visual podcast. Do we think there's any chance EO keeps the belt at 40? We still never had an Asian wrestler go over for the title at Mania. And if you remember, I think a lot of people thought that would have been Shin years ago after winning the Royal Rumble. And we kind of had that weird match with AJ Styles where he became a heel for essentially no reason and it went nowhere. So EO, who you can argue she's not booked nowhere near as strong as Rhea as a champion, she still puts on incredible matches when given the time. So depending on her opponent, and a lot of people are probably going to speculate that it would be Bayley, and you give Bayley her much overdue moment at Mania. I don't know how to do that, but I would love to see EO retained if possible. If you can still tell the story the same way and everything.
Jacob?
Yeah. Not a chance in hell EO leaves Mania with that belt. They getting that up off of her. You the only horsewoman to not pose at Mania, shawty. They taking your belt, EO. You had a good run. You might get it back, but
the only horsewoman to not pose at Mania. What?
She is the only horsewoman to not pose at Mania. She is the only one that has not had a singles match. She's the only one that has not left Mania a champ. Bayley leaving with that belt, dog. Sorry, Eel. It's been fun, but we're gonna need that Apostle Playboy. We'll get back to you maybe about 4 or 5 months, but I'm gonna need that right now.
See, that's fine and all. Bayley's more decorated than the other three.
Actually,
in totality.
Yeah, but still. So again, she's the only one to not have a moment. Everybody else has all their accolades, but they have the Mania moment. Bayley does not. Also, the Yokozuna question. Technically, I guess you could say yes. Samoan.
Wait, what? What was the Yokozuna question?
In the chat, some MDB. Yep.
No,
but
he doesn't count.
I don't think that counts. That doesn't count the same.
Samoa. It depends on where you trace, how far back you trace the Samoan. If they're Pacific Island Samoan.
I think Sindel was being a lot more specific with her question.
And I mean,
so
she's got a point. I mean, if you're being honest, like
it's some Samoans in Japan. No, it's not.
Sure. Oh God,
what?
Here we go.
Oh goodness, let's not get into this tangent. I think we answered those questions.
Go ahead, Kyle. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're straight. But no, I mean, there's definitely a point to that. Like, I mean, realistically, look at what I was talking about in the men's rumble with Shinsuke. I mean, since he's come to the main roster, he was a killer on NXT, and then since he's come to the main roster, even if you look back to when he wrestled for the title at 34, which I was there for, like, he was up there with AJ, and then once that was done, he kind of just went back down. So in a lot of ways, she's got a point. I think if there were ever a time for that to happen, I could see EO keeping the belt at 40 because realistically, again, if they're going to keep to their story, which lately it seems like they've been trying to, Bayley's already said that she was going to quote unquote go for Rhea so that Damage Control would have all the belts. So I feel like if she went after EO, unless they continue to blow up Damage Control in between now and WrestleMania.
That's what I think, though, that they're gonna blow it up. And then here's where the possibility of.
So then, does EO have her title in the Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, because I feel like if Mercedes is coming back, she would come back to helping Bayley, possibly. So because I honestly think that Bayley going against Rhea, I don't know who should take down Rhea, but I don't think it should be Bayley.
No, like I said, I think it eventually ends up being Bayley who takes it off of EO, but I feel like I feel like they continue to blow that up. But then again, I also can see your point with it making it to Mania. I guess it all just kind of depends on how the Elimination Chamber plays out. But
Rhea is gonna be a champion as long as Roman Reigns. I don't know as long as Roman Reigns, but definitely.
I don't know about as long as Roman Reigns, but she ain't
definitely
losing
long.
it anytime soon.
Yeah. Any other remarks on Royal Rumble that you guys want to highlight? Any highlighting pieces that you want to talk about?
Love that Tiffany Stratton got some run.
Dude, she
some
looked
serious
great in the
run
Rumble.
in the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
She looked great in the Rumble. And that was, matter of fact, she was one that, like, as soon as she got in there and started doing some of the stuff that we were talking about, like, again, me and Marcos and Megaran and everybody that was sitting around us was all saying the same thing. Like, dude, the same way a lot of people talk about Charlotte as far as the, like, how they say, like, she's got, like, the WWE look, I guess, in a lot of ways. Like, dude, Tiffany Stratton's got hella athleticism. She's really stepped up in the big matches that she's had as far as NXT, and then when she had a couple main roster matches. And I feel like for her to have the performance that she did in the Rumble like that, dude, she's gonna be money for them. She's gonna be one of the next ones up once she leaves NXT. Plus, let's not forget, I think, again, this is like another theme maybe of this show. Like, I don't think a lot of wrestling fans realize that she wasn't another one of, like, the models or, like, the NILs or, like, the athletes that they picked up. Like, she was trained by Greg Gagne. So, like, she's not, like, a complete noob to it either. So I think, like I said, I think in the coming years, it'll be a while down the road, but I think Tiffany Stratton's going to be money for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, in a lot, like, she fits in a lot of different ways. I definitely agree. Yeah, Jordan Grace was great as well. I think we had talked about that, but I think despite maybe a lot of people not knowing that she's a TNA or not knowing necessarily about TNA and that whole stuff, she just has the look like if she wasn't even a part of TNA, she has that WWE.
Can you imagine her in Charlotte or her in Rhea or any of that? Holy shit.
Her and Bianca needs to be night
that too
next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally cool with that.
She got eliminated by the right person. That was a great spot.
The right way. Less of the person is the right way to put somebody like that out.
But that's, I mean, and again, obviously we're running long on time, but, like, honestly, like, that is one of the things that's an interesting question that I feel like we'll talk about on our show coming up as well, in that it's going to be interesting to see how this TNA partnership thing works. Because I agree with you, that would be dope if we saw that at Mania again. But let's not forget, Jordan just re-signed with TNA. So how much are we really going to be able to see them go back and forth between TNA and WWE?
They've done this before.
They've done it before, but I'm just saying it's one thing when somebody is finishing up, like if that's what's really happening with Naomi or Trinity or whatever name we're going to pick. She had her ending with Jordan there in TNA if she did fully come back to WWE. Jordan, on the other hand, is not only re-signed with TNA, she's their champion.
No.
So,
look at ECW in the 90s. Vince was payrolling ECW and sending Lawler and companies. They'll do it for the right cost.
They'll do it, but I'm saying you got to remember, though, does TNA want their champ to look weak, though? That's why I'm saying. So if she's going to come back, it's got to be for something good, but can you have her just come back and get destroyed either?
Well, yeah, they're
going to get destroyed.
Well, I mean,
like an L.
Yeah, she'll have to take an L. I mean,
oh, for sure, she's got to take an L. But I mean,
yeah,
how much can they let her? How much will they let her get over on whoever the champion is whenever that happens? Or if we're talking Bianca in this case, how much are you going to let another wrestler from another company, even if you guys do have a quote unquote partnership?
Right.
How much are you going to let them really get in on that? Let's talk about even like the same situation like I was talking about if they did her versus Charlotte. How much would they really allow her to get in on somebody like Charlotte is my point. So I feel like if you bring her in and she's still the champion again, like it's got to be against somebody who they're going to let her get her shine in too. otherwise, that doesn't really do anything for TNA because you just made their champ look like shit.
Well, and also, how long is her contract for? I mean, who's to say that she can't do exactly what Naomi did?
I mean, and that seems to be one of the cases with a lot of the people that are leaving TNA. Like, it's like they have shorter contracts then they can go elsewhere. That's why I say with her re-signing, I feel like for her to keep coming back and forth, it's got to be the right person, the right matchup. Because even if she doesn't get squashed, which I don't think she'd get squashed, you still got to keep her strong to the TNA fans because you know they're going to get some of them. They're going to be tuning in anyway. Not that they wouldn't have already been WWE fans anyway, but I'm just saying you can't have I would assume that she's going to have the title for a while in TNA. So you can't. I would be shocked if TNA wasn't like, we can't just have you making our champ look like shit.
Right. I definitely agree, but we don't know how long her contract is, and that's another thing too. How long she signed for. Any other highlights that you guys want to discuss before we get out of here?
I think we covered it.
I love a good crossover.
I'll say the button up of the men's Royal Rumble I didn't like is like when they run through the whole play things by the numbers spiel they do before every show, and they're running about all the different things. It felt like they kind of just gifted Cody a back-to-back, and saying that I feel like there was other ways they could have got there to Roman, and they didn't need to do it this way. That's just me. I feel like they could have, like, I was been very vocal about having that callback to the Shawn Michaels meltdown from getting eliminated, and that would have been more of a stronger character arc of like, I have to finish the story and being obsessed with it, as opposed to like, oh, I run the Royal Rumble back to back just because it hasn't been done in 20 years. That's just me. That's why I didn't really care for that ending. I like Punk playing up to the crowd, doing a pedigree, stuff like that. And I'm not saying it had to be Punk. I feel like once Punk came back, we thought that was his story arc. I just feel like that's why the men's fell flat for me. It felt like they kind of just almost backed themselves into a corner with both decisions either way, where a good curveball would have been Gunther after going bell to bell last year.
TK, I just read something to your point to what you were talking about the rumors about the whole Brock thing. Shout out to my guy Danny that works with Dirt Sheet Radio too. But according to what they're saying, he said Brock Lesnar was entirely cut from the Bind the Numbers Royal Rumble video package last night. They mentioned the 5 superstars that had won the Rumble from the number 30 position, but excluded Lesnar, who had won the match in 2022 from the 30 spot. And I didn't see that because obviously I was there. But like I said, that already tells you that they're probably, where there's smoke, there's fire to that whole Pat McAfee thing.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if that's the case and he had no idea, then he should be entered in him, R-Truth, and the Bloodline should be entered into the Oscar picture if there's a category for such things. But I think we're good. Let us know in the chat if there's anything that we missed. But while we're doing that, Kyle, where can everybody send you the box of tissues and I guess the pens?
Depends.
All the things.
I don't need those. Thank God my Crohn's isn't kicking my ass too bad today. But with that being said,
that's good.
You guys can check us out. We're live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. We just had Mace from the Maximum Male Models was just on. AJ Francis was just on with us the week before that. And Circle 6 is getting ready to make their return to Detroit. So this week we will be joined by Dale Patricks, who's been making his resurgence to the deathmatch scene, and Kevin Gill, formerly a GCW, who will also be on the call for Circle 6, will be joining us this Thursday. And, if you get down with the combat sports side of things, we cover MMA, boxing, all that stuff. But our homie Joe Penafiel is fighting Charles Crazy Horse Bennett on Jorge Masvidal's bare knuckle MMA, and we will be talking to him soon as well too. So lots of stuff to find out. You can check us out, Knockouts and 3 Counts. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff, and you can find me at Detroit Knockout.
There it is. Jacob, where can they find us, and when will we gifting or graced with your presence again? I heard we're getting an NXT show with you and Ted, so
news to me.
The NXT show lives.
I swear,
that's what you guys were doing when I came on your show.
That's news to me. Okay, apparently I guess I gotta do an NXT show now. But yeah, no, you can find me on Twitter at _ Jake Della. It's been basketball season for me, so I've been occupied a lot, which is why I've not been around. So I don't know. I might show up tomorrow. I might be somebody might play my schedule. I might come to work tomorrow. But I got a top 10 women's wrestling matches of 2023 list out, and also you can catch me on Top Rope Nation. Did a Royal Rumble review this morning. That episode is up now on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. And yeah, I guess me and Seth are back to doing NXT soon.
There it is. NDB 999 is calling for it. So I guess we're starting an NXT show with Seti Said and Jacob from the streets in a week or so. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Seti Said, where can everybody find you?
You can find me digging myself out of the glass of the barbershop window that Jacob threw me in about a year and a half ago. But I mean,
well, damn,
I don't have any more cuts, and I'm starting to heal. So I'm glad that the
barbershop window is a dangerous place.
Like he didn't go solo.
I'm glad that the NXT show is coming back. That's warms my heart.
That's about to pound the streets.
I just got back from Vice City. You can find me on Twitter at says at CEDD_SAYS, on the gram as Said is the answer. I write for dailyddt.com, and I'm also on this platform Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I will do a top 3 Rumble moments piece here shortly once I get some slumber because I'm a little bit tired.
I feel
Shout out to Kyle for joining us. All things Detroit versus everybody at all times. I stand on that.
It still is. We got the natty. It's all good. Damn it.
Other than that, yeah, Royal Rumble was a fun show. If you've never been to a Royal Rumble, I urge you to make that trip. If it's regional to you, or even if it's not, it's one of the events you want to try to make.
There it is. Christina, where can everybody find you?
Yes, people can find me on IG at CHRZate, on bird/x/Twitter at CH_Zate, and on this platform on Mondays as me and TK go over the wonderful world of WoW, TNA, and maybe a guest appearance on WWT Live.
We're still the champions.
On Mondays. And
yeah, well, thank you guys for coming on. Thank you guys in the chat for joining us. We got a lot of folks. So MDB999, Jeffrey, Bobby, JD, our informational officer, Bosa. I guess our official producer might be sleeping. Dylan, but shout out to him. Barry Monkey 99. A lot of 99s in here. Eric, I also saw in the chat. Sandel in the chat. Push. I just saw your name. Push Play, I think DJ. Sorry, your name appeared and disappeared. But thank you guys so much for joining us in the chat. My name is TK Trinidad. You can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Make sure you check out everything on Women's Wrestling Talk, www.talkpod.com, www.talkpod on all social media platforms. Some new things coming if you are into betting, etc., all those things. We do have a partnership coming up where you can bet on wrestling, among other things as well. So check out our social media for that. We'll make the announcement there. Oh, also we do have merch. So let me before we leave, let's make a debut on our merch.
Hey yo, you that's watching this. You sitting on the couch staring at the screen, not knowing what you want to do. Like this is an online college. Are you tired of wearing shirts that make you look like an extra stuck in catering? Do you want to step your wrestling swag game up to the next level? Then Women's Wrestling Talk has got you covered. Like literally. Are you for life in pink or black and white? Or maybe you're the EST and people need to respect you accordingly. Want to put some pride in your stride and show off the muscle in your hustle? Then make sure you check out the WWT store. Not now, but right now. All right? What you waiting for? Head to www.talkpodstore.com and don't make me fight you. Shit.
There it is.
There it is.
Yes, find out.
We definitely have some parlays coming. MDB999, so definitely be on the lookout for that whole code. And they also give you some money too. So it's a whole thing coming. We have dropped it on our social media, but I will be talking more about it in the weeks to come. Other than that, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Till next time, guys. Ciao.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go off. This is Shayna, the Queen of Spades Baszler, and you're watching Women's Wrestling Talk.